Okay, so what if everything we think we know, I mean, or our world, life, everything, is just like a part of, a giant, super advanced, like, computer simulation?
Whoa.
Yeah, it sounds like something straight out of the Matrix, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, you've sent in some material that really dives deep into this whole simulation hypothesis, this idea that, what if we're all living in a simulation? So let's unpack it.
It is pretty wild to think about. Um, but it's not just a sci-fi concept.
Yeah.
Some serious minds are exploring this, and it's linked to some really fundamental questions about the universe, like what is reality even,
Right.
and what is our place in it?
Okay, so for those of us just joining the party, what exactly is the simulation hypothesis?
So, in a nutshell,
Mm-hmm.
it's the idea that what we perceive as reality
Mm-hmm.
could actually be a sophisticated computer program
Okay.
designed by a much more advanced civilization.
Okay.
It's like they've created this incredibly detailed virtual reality world,
Yeah.
and we're all just, living inside it.
Okay, that's mind-bending for sure. But how did this whole idea even come about?
It actually has roots in philosophy,
Mm.
going back centuries, really.
Okay.
But in 2003, a philosopher named Nick Bostrom
Okay.
wrote a paper that really brought it into the spotlight.
Yeah.
He laid out 3 possibilities for advanced civilizations.
Let's hear him.
Okay, so the first is that civilizations self-destruct before they even reach the technological level
Okay.
to create these kinds of super simulations.
Okay.
The second is that they exist
Right.
and they have the tech,
Right.
but they choose not to create them.
Hmm.
And the third is, well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, hit me with possibility number 3.
All right, so the third possibility is that they create simulations,
Hmm.
and they create so many of them that it becomes statistically more likely that we are in one than not.
Okay.
Think about it. Like, if a civilization had enough computing power,
Yeah.
they could create countless simulated universes.
So we're potentially just like one of billions, trillions, who knows?
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to think about the scale.
Yeah. But is it even remotely possible to create a simulation that realistic? I mean,
Right.
think about all the intricacies of our world,
Yeah.
emotions, just the sheer vastness of the universe.
It's funny you say that because it does seem almost impossible.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating is that technology is advancing at an incredible pace.
Right.
You have Moore's law, which observes that computing power roughly doubles every 2 years.
Right.
So we're on an exponential curve. Like, imagine what computing power will be like in a few decades.
It's hard to even fathom.
Right. In a century.
Yeah.
You might have the capacity to create your own, detailed simulations
Mm-hmm.
right from your desktop.
Okay, so if we are on a path to potentially creating super realistic simulations, doesn't it make sense that someone out there may have already done it?
Exactly. And if they have the odds start to shift
Mhm.
towards us potentially being in one.
It's enough to make you question everything you thought you knew. You know what I think is really interesting?
What's that?
This whole, our reality isn't what it seems thing. That's not exactly a new idea, is it?
No, not at all.
Mhm.
It's been a recurring theme in philosophy for centuries, really.
Yeah.
Plato, way back in ancient Greece, had this allegory
Oh, yeah, yeah.
called the allegory of the cave
Yeah.
that explores a very similar idea.
Can you give me, the SparkNotes version?
Yeah, sure. Imagine a group of prisoners chained inside a cave
Okay.
their whole lives. And all they can see are shadows projected on the wall in front of them
Hmm.
from objects passing by a fire behind them.
Right.
To them, those shadows are reality.
Right.
But what if one prisoner escaped and saw the outside world, the source of those shadows?
Yeah.
Could he convince the others that what they thought was real was actually an illusion?
I see. So we could be like those prisoners, mistaking the shadows that we perceive through our senses for the true nature of reality.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this idea of deception, or like a hidden reality, pops up again and again.
Yeah.
The philosopher René Descartes had this idea of an evil demon
Uh-huh.
who could be tricking us into believing a false reality.
So even our senses and logic, those could be unreliable.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
kind of unsettling.
Right. And then there's the classic brain in a vat thought experiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if we're just brains floating in vats, hooked up to a supercomputer
Right.
that's feeding us all our sensory experiences?
Okay, so philosophy has been wrestling with this for a long time, but is there anything in actual, science
Yeah.
that suggests we might be living in a simulation?
Well, there are some really interesting clues in physics that that have some scientists wondering.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is the fact that the universe seems to be governed by mathematical laws.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like the universe is running on code,
Okay, yeah.
like a giant computer program.
Yeah. Okay, I can kind of see that, but isn't that a big leap? Like from math to saying the universe is a simulation.
Well, it is. It is
Yeah.
a big leap, and we definitely need to be careful about, jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
But then you have things like the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fundamental limit
Right.
in the universe. That speed limit is like a processing limit in a simulation.
Oh, okay.
Like the simulated universe can only run so fast.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that. Are there any other like scientific breadcrumbs that suggest a simulation?
There are a few. Quantum mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
which deals with the, super tiny world of atoms and particles,
You're right.
is really weird.
Okay.
It suggests that things at that level don't exist in a definite state until they're observed.
Wait, so you're saying like a tree falling in the forest doesn't make a sound unless someone's there to hear it?
Well, not exactly like that, but in
Yeah.
the quantum world, it's kind of similar. It's like a video game that only renders the parts you're actually looking at to save processing power.
Right.
So some physicists think this observer effect in quantum mechanics
Yeah.
could be a sign of a simulated universe.
Okay. That's super trippy. So it's like our consciousness, like the act of observing, could be influencing like how the simulation works.
Some physicists believe that's a possibility.
Wow.
Then there's the cosmic microwave background radiation.
I'm gonna need a quick explainer on that one.
Sure. It's basically this faint afterglow of the Big Bang that permeates the entire universe.
Okay.
Think of it like the universe's baby picture.
Okay.
Some physicists have theorized that if we could analyze this radiation closely enough, we might find subtle anomalies,
Okay.
like glitches in the matrix,
Right.
that could hint at a simulated reality.
Okay, so now that would be like some concrete evidence.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking like philosophy,
Right.
thought experiments. There are actual like scientific avenues
Yeah.
that could potentially, back up this whole simulation hypothesis.
Exactly. Still early days,
Right.
but, the possibility is exciting. And who knows what future discoveries might reveal.
Right. All right. So we've looked at some of the arguments, for the simulation hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
But like any good scientist or philosopher, we got to look at both sides.
Right.
What are some of the arguments against it?
So one of the big ones is that the whole idea could be pretty anthropocentric.
Meaning what exactly?
Well, it means we're kind of assuming that a super advanced civilization would want to create simulations
Okay.
that look a lot like our reality.
Right.
But, who's to say they'd be interested in simulating U.S. at all?
Right.
You know, their technology, their motivations, even their understanding of reality could be so different from ours
Yeah.
that simulating humans just wouldn't be on their radar.
So like maybe they're simulating universes full of like intelligent space slugs or something, and we're just not cool enough to be included.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our human perspective might be limiting us.
Right.
Another big challenge is, of course, the lack of hard evidence.
Right.
While there are some intriguing clues, we haven't found anything definitive that proves we're in a simulation.
Right. Right. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, as they say.
Precisely. And then there's Occam's razor,
Mm-hmm.
the idea that the simplest explanation is usually the best.
Right.
From that perspective, it might be more likely that we just exist in, base reality
Right.
without the need for some complex simulation.
So it's all about keeping an open mind while also being grounded in logic and evidence.
Absolutely. But even if we never definitively prove or disprove this simulation hypothesis, the very act of thinking about it can be, super valuable.
How so?
Well, it pushes us to question everything we think we know. It forces us to look beyond the everyday
Right.
and confront those big existential questions.
Yeah.
But the nature of reality and our place in the universe.
You know what's interesting?
What's that?
In a way, the simulation hypothesis reminds me of certain spiritual or religious beliefs.
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
The idea of a creator deity in many religions
Yeah.
is kind of similar to the idea of a programmer who created or simulated world.
Right. And some spiritual traditions talk about the physical world as being an illusion,
Hmm.
which, echoes the simulation hypothesis.
Absolutely. Whether it's, science or philosophy, spirituality, or even pop culture, there seems to be this universal human fascination with questioning the nature of reality.
Yeah.
We're constantly searching for, something beyond the surface of things.
It's like that saying, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing.
Right.
The simulation hypothesis is a great reminder that we're still figuring things out, that there's so much we don't know about the universe.
And then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sense of mystery
Yeah.
is what makes life so fascinating.
Right.
We're on this incredible journey of discovery, and the simulation hypothesis is just, one of many paths we can take
Right.
to explore the big questions about, who we are and why we're here.
So let's bring this back to our listener.
Okay.
Imagine, just for a second, that you knew WW, without a doubt, that you were living in a simulation. Would it change anything about how you live your life? I mean, would it make you, like, take more risks or,
Mm.
maybe focus more on just enjoying the ride?
It's such a fascinating question, to consider. Like, would you see the world differently,
Yeah.
knowing it's all a carefully constructed illusion?
Yeah.
And yet, even if it is a simulation, doesn't that make the sheer complexity and beauty of it
Yeah.
even more amazing? Someone or something designed this incredible experience.
It really makes you think about what's truly important, right? If our relationships, our emotions, everything we experience, if it still feels real to us,
Yeah.
does it really matter if it's happening in a simulated world?
I think that, that really gets to the heart of it. It's the nature of reality versus how we actually experience it.
Mm.
A simulated world, it could still be filled with love, with purpose, with joy, with heartbreak, all the things that make us human.
So maybe in a way, this whole simulation hypothesis, it could actually be empowering.
Yeah, yeah.
If this is all a simulation, then let's make it a good one, right?
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
focus on the things that truly matter and make this simulated life, the best it can be.
I really like that perspective. It's a call to live more consciously,
Hmm.
more intentionally,
Hmm.
to appreciate the beauty and complexity of this world, whether it's a simulation or not,
Right.
to savor every moment, to connect deeply with others, to make the most of this incredible journey that we're on.
And hey, maybe we can even figure out how to bend the rules a little bit, like
Yeah.
like Neo did in the Matrix.
Huh. I love your optimism.
Right.
But even if we don't reach Matrix level hacking skills, there's so much we can do to explore the nature of reality.
Yeah.
We can keep pushing the boundaries of science and technology, philosophy. We can dive deep into meditation or lucid dreaming to explore, different states of consciousness.
It's like we've been given this amazing playground, right? This universe full of mysteries, and we have the freedom to explore it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe in our exploration, we'll stumble upon clues that reveal the true nature of our reality simulation or not. Or maybe we'll just gain a deeper appreciation for the incredible world we live in, wherever it came from.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the simulation hypothesis, what's the one thing you hope our listener takes away from all of this?
I think the most important thing is to never lose that sense of curiosity and wonder. Don't be afraid to ask those big questions, challenge your assumptions, and explore different perspectives. Whether it's the simulation hypothesis or any other mind-bending idea, thinking outside the box can lead to some truly fascinating discoveries about ourselves and the universe.
Well said. And remember, even if we are all just living in a giant, super advanced video game, it doesn't make our experiences any less real or meaningful. It just adds a whole new layer of mystery and excitement to the adventure. So go out there, explore, connect with others, and never stop questioning everything. What will you discover along the way?